All right. Thank you. Iam, or how do you say your name?
It's pronounced I am like IAM.
Well, it's nice to
Like
meet you, Iam. Sorry about the mishap earlier. Didn't mean to sound like a dick or anything like that.
nah, no worries. I just we gotta make sure that everything is 100.
Yeah, no problem. But so let's cut to the chase. You believe you're God. Why do you believe that?
Oh nah. Okay. Um. So most people get their fundamental understanding of who they are, of what they are, where they came from humanity, right? And if you base your I didn't know that this is what we were going to be talking about. If you base your fundamental understanding of anything upon the foundations of humanity, you should always expect to be lost or misled or not know fully what you are, because not even just on the planet Earth alone, humans are essentially the newest species, right? The babies, but in existence itself, right? In the universe itself, humanity has been around for less than a nanosecond on the grand scale of things. To allow a species that is so new, so immature, so unaware of not even only themselves but existence to tell you anything about yourself, you should always expect to be lost, right? Humans are the same species that believe that your reproductive organ that you're born with affects your capability to think. Humans thought the universe was going to end because of a calendar. It gets to the point to where you recognize I can't keep following the voice of humanity, because when I follow the voice of humanity, if something bad happens, I can't blame humanity because I knew humanity was stupid. I knew humanity was stupid when they were burning people alive, when they thought the world was going to end because of one of their calendars that they created, when they thought that your skin color or your reproductive organ. So you get to the point of awareness to where you start to recognize and see that the universe itself is alive, that the universe itself is conscious, that consciousness is not something that is exclusive to humanity. And you begin, myself, I begin speaking like to that. And I'm like, so I'm asking questions. I'm like, all right, bro, like, can you tell me the truth? Tell me what's real. Tell me what's fake. And eventually, like, you learn that the same way that humanity recognizes species, like there's universal species as well, right? And I understand that that may be difficult or a lot for some people to take in, because it goes completely against everything that humanity has taught you, right? But at the same time, telling the truth goes against everything humanity has taught you, because humanity teaches you to lie. Humanity teaches you to be okay living a lie, right? Like even like if you live in America's dream, you're essentially living in an artificial version of reality, right? Like you have artificial freedom. I mean, like the only reason you believe you're free is because when you were kidnapped off of the freedom that the universe itself bestowed upon you, when these random groups came and kidnapped you off of the streets and forced you into their institutions, where they forced you to worship their ideology, worship their education, worship their knowledge, worship their leaders, right? They forced you to believe that you were free, right? And if you started telling the truth and telling people like the Tates or like the Trump or like Martin Luther King or like Ye, yo, you guys aren't free. This is not freedom. The government, like those people will come and attack
I
you,
don't like that.
right?
Yeah.
Right, because telling the truth is something that has been made intrinsically illegal. So, like, most of you guys' understanding of like what gods are or what a god is or what God is comes from humanity, right? And that's just simply like it's delusional, right? And that's almost like getting your information about Black culture from somebody outside of the culture. Right. So, speaking to the universe, you just like it's the same way that how do you know you're a human? Humanity told you. You got to a certain age, you got to a certain point of awareness and consciousness to where the people teaching you were able to recognize that you understood things, and they're like, "Yo, you're a human." So it's the same thing. Like for me, I got to a certain level of consciousness and awareness to where like the universe and the way that the universe communicates, right? It's like, yo, you are a god. But with that information comes like now like a whole different set of understanding, not only of myself but like the world and around me. So it's just one of those things of like, and you being human, that makes you a part of the
Excuse me.
human race, the human species. So me growing up, I get to the point where like humanity is telling me that I'm human, but now the universe is telling me you're God. They're saying that like you're human doesn't necessarily mean that there's only one human. So that's essentially what it is. It's just a little bit of living in reality. and outside of the delusion that is cast upon the unassuming and unsuspecting masses by humanity.
You said the universe kind of told you, like, when in this point of your life do you think that was?
I mean, a bit ago. I mean, it's one of those things, like the same way that like when humanity raises you, your parents are always around to a certain extent. It's the same with existence. The only difference is like you're always going to be in the presence of reality, even if you want to like try to hide it, right? So it's like it's one of those things of you're asking these questions to obviously, like if you're asking from humanity's perspective, you're looking at someone who would be considered an adult, right? So I can, when it comes to like answering you questions about humanity, I can answer you questions way better than like anybody. But like in terms of like the grand scale of things, like on the universe, like you're essentially like speaking to the equivalent of like a 7-year old. So like you guys ask me a lot of these questions, and like people come to me with a lot of these questions. It'd be like if you were to sit down with a 7-year-old human and start asking a 7-year-old human things like, yo, like, how do you know you're a human? What is humanity? Like, you're not gonna get like super clean and precise answers, right? Because at that stage of development, they're just understanding what it means, what a human is. So it's the same with me, right? Like, there's other like entities, beings in existence that are older than me in the universe that like if you were to sit face to face with them, they probably would be able to give you a slightly better like definition or understanding than what I'm giving you, just because they've been aware of themselves longer than I have been, because they've been around like consciously.
It was like you who messaged me back on like December 31st, I believe. And what? And you're the creator of the supposedly the creator of the universe. Why did you say decide? Oh, cool. Why not just why message this kid who has a podcast? Like, why out of all of the Bibles in your story out there, why choose me?
Did I say I'm the? Did I say that? I said like,
Yeah, you said I am God.
oh, I said that. Sometimes like I don't even remember sending that message. Sometimes I get bored. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'll be looking for things to like fill my space. Like I'll be looking for things to like fill my time. So at that time, like at that point in time, bro, I probably was just like bored and like probably was like, I gotta find something to do in this time. You wanted to talk about the Bible, you said?
No, I just wanted to interview on your. You said your live talk and just like if I could read you the message if you want.
Above all of that, the big thing, I think I told you this earlier, is like if I had a point of focus, it would be to keep it real, right? And basically, what I mean by like keeping it real, I think the world works better when everybody is like being real, truly like the most authentic version of themselves. And what that means is it's like when you look at the world right now, a lot of people live in delusion, the land of make believe. They get to pretend that they're rich. They get to pretend that they're famous. They get to pretend that they're important. They get to pretend that what they think matters because of what humanity created, right? But you got to understand that what humanity has constructed, the societies and all of that, they're artificial versions of reality. So, for example, if you put it on paper, the president of Brazil is supposed to be more important than me, right? Supposed to be a PhD is supposed to be smarter than me, right? But that's only because that's what humanity or the people who created these structures say, is like if you're the president, you're the most important person. We know for a fact that the president of the United States is not always the most important person on the planet, right? Andrew and Tristan Tate are both significantly more important than Joe Biden. Yay, Young Thug, y'all call him Drake, Six God, Six God. That nigga is Taylor. Obviously, they're more important than the president of Brazil. Most people like they understand, but they don't. It doesn't consciously register because of the way that people have been made to think. Right, when you were stripped off of the street and forced into these institutions that they call government education centers, right? They made you think about life in a certain way. They made you start. They shaped your perspectives of life uh, down like a very specific funnel. So you look at life from those funnels, and when you start to live in reality, if you start to live in reality and stumble upon reality, they'll be willing to kill you, put you in prisons, lie on you, smear you, destroy your name. For example, Ye, Kanye West, right? Likes to be called Ye, so that's what we're keeping it. At least it was cool with Ye when Ye was just backpack rapping and like college dropout and shit. But the moment he looked into reality and looked at his reflection in life, and he was like, wait a minute. If the president of the United States jump, a lot of people will ask how high. If I say jump, a lot of people will just jump in general. So he realized, he's like, I've got as much power and influence, if not more, than a lot of these elected officials, but I'm not no elected official, and so I can't call myself no politician. What am I? He decided to tell the truth. He told the world, he said, I am Yeezy. I'm a king. That's what he told the world. The moment he told the world he was a king, because he became aware of his power, what happened? They started attacking his mental integrity. They started smearing him through the news. They started running this campaign to try to do everything to get him to be discredited. Why? Because if he's allowed to go on with telling the truth for long enough, he now becomes disruptive to society, right? But being disruptive to society isn't always necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes we need people who are disruptive to society. Like, for example, I'm not a fan of Jesus, but like Jesus was disruptive to society in a good way for the most part, right? Whenever you lead somebody's mind outside of the bullshit that society has bestowed upon them, and you can lead them into a better version, into a, like Martin Luther King was disruptive to society.
Brought it into a good way. He and brought up an anarchy.
Right. I don't know if I would call it anarchy,
but he started like at least a revolution in the way.
For sure, yeah, like holding people accountable for their actions and bullshit. Like, for example, today, gang violence is a real problem in the world, including like domestically and what people consider to be America. But let me give you some numbers, bro. Since 1969, the founding of the Bloods and of the Crips, right? 40,000 total deaths from 69 to today, and all of their gang wars and everything. 40,000. That's a decent amount. America, a white gang killed 300,000 people in the Middle East alone, right? That's less than a decade, right? Then you have Hiroshima, Nagasaki, World War One, World War Two, the Holocaust, Ukraine and Russia, Israel, right? These are white organizations similar to black organizations that are also having turf wars, turf disputes, fighting over resources, right? The only difference is when the Bloods and Crips have an altercation, you maybe one or two people at the gas station accidentally get caught in the crossfire. When America or a white turf, they have disputes. Russia, America, you guys kill people in the hundreds of thousands, right? They destroy whole innocent civilizations, innocent nations, targeting hospitals, targeting schools, targeting nursery homes. But the people who have this type of skin, right, are marketed to be the bad guys. When it's like, well, wait a minute, we're not the ones. It must have been the Bloods and the Crips who dropped those bombs in World War II. It must have been the Bloods and the Crips in Middle East. It must be the Bloods and the Crips that are fighting that war with Ukraine and Russia. It must be the Bloods and the Crips with Israel and Palestine. It must have been the Bloods and the Crips who created that Iron Dome defense for Israel. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Jews, all the people like who have gotten the bad stick in history, they've all suffered. Like the blacks, the Jews, the gays. You keep it coming. Like you're saying, where do you think you fall into this?
I don't know if I would say I fall into it. When I say like keep it real, it means like everyone's got to be held to at least like a similar standard or point of accountability, to where it's like, don't hold the black, like a certain people as responsible for the world's issues, when it's like, look at what you're doing and contributing to the mess. You recognize that like the people doing the finger pointing are the ones who are contributing most of the mess, right? Like there's a statistic that goes around that like black people make up this percent of the population and this percent of like violent crimes, like 13% and 50. And it's like, I just had to like get real one day and be like, white people like make up 16% of the global population, like according to Google, right? You guys make up 60% of the world's demographic. But in the modern era, you guys are responsible for the highest number of civilian lives lost, right? That goes to white people, right? Uh, enslavement, right? Like you guys took a book out of Hitler's page with the Japanese people, when you guys forced them into internment camps in the 50s, right after you saw Hitler do that. Uh, Property damage, right? Destruction of property. The people that are responsible for the highest amount of property damage is white people, it's Caucasian people, right? But there's a sense of delusion that envelopes people's minds because people don't keep it real. Whenever you like lead with the deluded mind state, like you get deluded results and deluded reality to where it's like, I'm not gonna live in delusion to make other people feel better about themselves, right? If I describe to you a scenario, you'll look at this scenario in two different ways depending on what I tell you about it. So an individual comes to your home or goes to your neighbor's home, kicks the door down, hog ties them, takes their cotton paper, and takes their weed. Just hearing that, you may not assign opinions to it. But if I say it was a cop, you probably don't pay it any mind. But if I say it was a Crip, people probably think gang violence. But it's like, I described the exact same situation and scenario. And the only difference between the cops, Bloods, and Crips is the way that they're marketed, right? America does most of the marketing when it comes to the cops, Bloods, and Crips. Like even in school, they market the cops as good guys, as friendly people, as allies, to where so much where cops will say things like, "You're gonna listen to him over a cop." Nigga, you being a cop does not make you a god.
I also had heard something a while back. Maybe it was on TikTok. I don't really remember. Anyways, besides the point. Around '08, I believe, around the global crash, basically the only thing really stopping it fully was like drugs, because parents, just because drugs are bad, they and people still need to sell a drug to the family. Still need to like get business somehow, and people are gonna get addicted, even if it is technically a bad thing. But with that going around, that's kind of the only thing stopping it going full home. You hear me?
Yeah, I mean, even still to this day, right? Like even we get on drugs, right? Like there's a couple of classifications of drugs, right? You have drugs that the government likes and drugs that the government doesn't like. You feel
But
me?
there's
And
drugs for
it's like,
medicine.
yeah, well, drugs that the government likes are typically those. So the thing about it is, it's like the drugs that the government likes, they create, and it's like this. The drugs that the government creates make you more complicit. They make you easier to control. Think about it, right? When you're an animal, when you're a human cub, right? Any animal cub has a shit ton of energy. You're not gonna be able to get a cat, a dog, a bear, polar bear cubs to sit still in a classroom for 8 hours without drugging their minds to shit and turning them into zombies. They give you a pill that is specifically created to shut off parts of your brain to make you more complicit. The drugs that they don't like marijuana or shrooms, those are drugs that make you more difficult to control. They make you less complicit. That's what this whole thing is about when it comes to world governments. That's why they don't like the Tates. That's why they don't like Donald Trump. That's why they don't like Yes. That's why they don't like, well, they might like me in a different way, but like that's why a lot of the shit that I've had to go through and endure, things that like a lot of people wouldn't even still to this day believe me if I told them, right? Because I just tell the truth, right? Because we're not difficult to control, right? It's like this. I recognize my mental superiority to fucking everyone and everything around me, right? So if I follow the guidance of an idiot, and something idiotic happens, I'm to blame for myself being in an idiotic position because I knew better, right? So it doesn't come down to not wanting people to control you. It comes down to understanding my awareness and understanding where my mental landscape is compared to yours, and recognizing that I'm not only smarter and more capable than you, I'm a better leader than you. Because your line of thought compared to mine is completely worthless and irrelevant. What you recognize is there's a lot of people in humanity who think so highly of themselves over absolutely nothing because they get these titles or because they get these paper certificates or achievements. And it's like, dude, like, I had someone trying to make fun of me earlier because I explained something and I just like gave a full course on it in 5 seconds, and they tried to belittle me and insult me and say like saying this isn't. I'm like, I'm like, if what I said was so simple and so easy and so obvious, why is there a full course on it? Right? Econ 101. You literally brought it up. You're saying that what I said just explained all of Econ 101, and it took me 5 seconds to explain, but you took a whole semester of it.
Even from like high school, like sometimes I can even just go on YouTube and I can figure out more than my teachers can. Like just in like maybe 2 days, I can figure out like the whole semester. Not doing it well, but I could at least learn it, you know.
And here's the thing, a lot of like teachers and like I don't listen to people who live lifestyles that I don't want, right? And I hear a lot of complaining from damn near everybody, about from all the way up to Tates and Bill Gates down to like lowly teachers. I don't want to be complaining about the only complaint that I have about my life, as exciting as it is that I want more. There's something missing, right? And by something, I mean that like I'm so far removed from what like the Tates have deemed the Matrix. I'm so far removed from that like I can now understand that there's like real possibilities in reality, like in existence itself, right? But I don't, because no one has like, this is because no one that we've seen has been this deep into reality. I don't completely know what I can achieve, but I do know this, right? Like, even like the Tates, and I'm speaking to you guys directly, Andrew and Tristian Tate and your team, because I found you guys' Instagram, right? And y'all been ducking the smoke. I've been letting you guys know that you can come see me with the gloves whenever. I guess this is what I gotta do, right? So y'all, if I put this clip up, go ahead and check who's tagged. You're gonna see all of them, so you can see that I'm saying this face to face as I'm speaking directly to you guys. You guys' standards of success still come from the Matrix. Right? So if your standards of success and excellence come from the very thing that you're trying to escape, you haven't escaped it. You've merely become pawns to it. You will look at somebody and say, what color is your Bugatti? That standard of success comes from the Matrix. That's artificial. You'll look at somebody and you're broke. You know, you're literally, your definitions of success come from the Matrix, and you guys love to sit on the internet and boast and say that you escaped the Matrix. You're pawns. Andrew and Tristian Tate and the rest of you guys who I'm tagging in this description, who act like y'all can't see me sitting under y'all post saying, hey, y'all niggas love to talk like you nice with those gloves. Come see me in person. And let's see if them mitts really work how you say them mitts work. You talking about the top G and I'm the greatest this and I'm the greatest that. Well, what's up, bro? Come see me. And it's all love, but come see me, right? This is what I mean by keeping it real. I don't want to hear people. I don't want people walking around talking like they don't live. That's how you get rappers, bro. This is what I mean, bro. This is how you get rappers, because I fucking hate a rap nigga. I hate rappers, right? What a rapper is a real person who decided to live to tell an inauthentic story.
Aren't you a rapper?
For example, nah, I'm not no rapper. I'm a real person, right? I'm a real person. I'm a real individual. What a rapper is an individual who in real life is a nerd, is a loser, is a lame, and they decide that they want to portray an image of themselves to the world of being something that they aren't. Two examples: Kendrick Lamar and Tupac Shakur. If you look up, you go to YouTube, you look up Tupac. When Pac was 17 years old, you'll see a video of this nigga zesty as fuck, bro, zesty as hell. And then this nigga gets a role in a movie called Juice. Bishop was the role that he got, and he realized that people fucked with Bishop more than they fucked with whoever he is. So Bishop became his entire persona throughout life. But if you look at his interviews, if you look at his music, if you look at the way he moving and shit like that in his interviews, you can tell that that's not his lifestyle. Right? Now, like, you look at Nip Hustle, you look at YG, you look at The Game. Those is real niggas, bro. They was actually in the field running and drilling shit. Pac didn't live that lifestyle. Kenny is a fucking loser, bro. Kenny has never been no gangster. He ain't never thrown nobody no pitch. He ain't never ran no fucking plays. This nigga Kenny is, you take Tyler the Creator, and Tyler the Creator wants to convince everybody that Tyler the Creator is YG or The Game or Nip Hustle. Then all of a sudden you have Kung Fu Kenny. Nigga, nobody's checking for no Kenny, bro. I don't care. That nigga's an affiliate. That nigga not Pyro. That nigga's not no 60, bro. That nigga's an affiliate. But he walk around running, portray this image to the world like I'm this. The reason that irritates me is because just what like one, we need authentic real energy, and two, we don't need no liars, bro. Just be yourself.
I did a little like scrolling on your I think it was your Twitter. I might be wrong, but I saw you might have reposted a quote you did. That's and I'll quote it. There are some grown adults walking around truly believing and teaching these people worship the devil simply because they aren't successful. No, these are your parents, teachers, cowards, friends, and principals. Mind you, they're jokes. I do think this kind of goes into what you were like. And granted, it was you, but I do believe that kind of goes into what you're saying.
Yeah, nah, it's people going around calling themselves grown adults who are literally like telling people this person who's more they're only more successful than me. They will look at who they believe to be their child in their face. Little Tommy, little Timmy. That person on the TV is only more successful than me because they sold their soul to the devil. They will look, bro, that's your parents, your teachers, your principals, your aunts, your uncles, your judges, lawyers will literally look you dead in your face and tell you the only reason that Donald Trump or Tristian or Andrew or who else is more successful than them is because they sold their soul to the devil. Not because they worked hard, not because there was opportunities that were allowed to them that they were able to take advantage of.
Who said that? I'm just not. I've never heard that.
Well, yeah, because like it's true. Bro, here's the thing that I had to learn, right? Is like success, there's so many definitions of success, right? To where I started like there's got to be one I like consistency. I value consistency. That's something that I love. And I'm like there's no consistent version of success. So that's when I'm like, all right, bro, like I'm speaking to reality, existence, God, life, Allah, whatever name that like makes you guys sleep well at night. Just don't affiliate it with religion because religion is real or religion is fake and reality is real. God is real, life, Allah, existence, creation, whatever you want to say. You're real, so live real lives. But anyway, I'm like, hey, yo, reality, existence. Can you like not only show me, right? Because I show the world using me. Don't use nobody else. Use me to show the whole fucking eternity and existence what it means to be truly wealthy in the eyes of reality, not the eyes of humanity. What it means to be truly successful in the eyes of reality, not the eyes of humanity, right? To be like, but obviously the eyes of reality has to include because how reality sees something, you don't have a choice but to see how reality sees because reality is real. If reality looks at you and they see a problem and humanity sees a champion, who you think is gonna win? Reality looks at you and says you're a problem, and humanity looks at you and says you're a champion. Whose definition do you rock with? Just cause everyone's gonna have to go with realities because reality is real and humanity is based off of their perception, off of their understanding, off of what they think to be true. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter what humanity wants or thinks to be true. And that's what reality is. Reality is like, for example, it's true that this is a piece of paper. It's true that there's very little difference between this paper and the paper in everyone's wallets. Very little difference. But those differences dictate and determine how you view that paper. Right? When in reality, that's not money. That's not success. That's not wealth. Within the matrix, all day, that's money. That's success. That's wealth. In the matrix, niggas who live in real life, we don't care about the matrix. We got real, actual lives to live. I'm not going to pretend that somebody is better than me because they have more paper. I'm not going to pretend that somebody is smarter than me because another human signed off on it. Right? Now, if reality comes along and says, hey, yo, I'm smarter because I got reality to sign off, you just have to accept it. If reality looks at me and says that nigga's the most successful person in existence, you can fight it, but eventually you're going to have to accept it because it's like if I say that tree is on fire and you look at it and say, no, it's not, that bitch is still going to burn down. Now, it's like either when I tell you it's on fire, you can go put it out, accept it and put it out. Or you just sit there and say, it's not on fire, it'll be fine. And now that bitch is in ashes in front of you because you wanted to live in denial when I showed you the truth in ways that were undeniable. You know, and that's what it comes down to. And that's why when I look at people like the Tates, like, cause I wasn't looking for their Instagrams. I just one day just they just happened to be there, right? Andrew Tate got like less than 1,000. Tristan Tate got less than 2,000, and then like all of their homies is still there with them too, right? So I'm like letting them know, and I'm like, bro, y'all niggas can't go around saying you escaped the matrix when every standard for success and excellence that you have comes from the matrix. You base your opinions on people based upon how much paper they've been able to accumulate, or what color Bugatti they've gotten. You know, to where it's like there's things that like are really important and really matter. Not to mention when you're at this level that I operate at, there is a lot of shit in motion that is set up to make sure that niggas don't get to hear or be around or listen to the shit that I got to say, because I'm that powerful, bro. I'm literally that powerful, right? Like I can't tell you guys a lot of the little shit that I go through, and like things that I've been put through. I'll say it like this: my social media, my PlayStation account, my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube, all of it, my all of it for all to eternity has no one has ever fucked with it, never touched it, nothing. The moment I start telling people the truth at this level, all of a sudden, my TikTok, they start throwing strikes at that bitch, and blocking it and flagging it, and my Instagram, they start putting restrictions on this motherfucker, and like,
TikTok started doing that, and right after the ban
nah,
happened, like,
facts for sure. And for sure, I'm on a whole different wavelength than that, is what I'm saying, right? Like that's what I
yeah,
mean. Is like living what I go through, like, bro. You see what they put people through publicly, like
yeah.
assassination attempts on Trump, and what they did to the Tates, right? You don't think that they're aware of people who are doing the same type of thing, but on a level that's not as digitally public, bro? You don't like the same shit that they fight. I face that same shit, but in a different way. You start to like you start the battles you fight at your level of awareness, right? So like because my awareness is like so much different and bigger than like an average individual's, you guys like humans are very petty, right? Like I'll just say that, right? Like humans, if they don't want you to have something, like they're just very petty, right? And I've only recognized that because like there was a certain like official document that they attempted to stop me from recently getting in a very very petty way, right? And they tried to like get me to question like my vision and eyesight, to where I'm like, dude, not only am I like one of the most elite fighters on this planet, begging like anyone, John Jones, like I'll see you too, bro. I really will. Like I really will. And I be fighting with like I be sparring pros. I do. I get up out of bed, get up out of bed, beat my meat on a random Saturday, Sunday, Monday, decide I want to go spar with some pros, and I'll beat them. I'm super good at basketball. I'm good at shooting skeets, bro. Like shooting clays. They try to get me to question my bro, and I'm like, all right, dude. But the next time I went up in there, like, long story short, my documents the documents that I needed to obtain were obtained, but they just like to like the government, people are very petty, right? There's a
Hmm.
lot, because it's like slavery. Like you guys are slaves, bro. There's no other way to look at it and put it. And the Tates let you know too, but the Tates still don't recognize that just like a successful slave is still a slave. They sold you a picture of slavery, chattel slavery. They said this is what slavery is. And but the only reason that you believe that what you have is freedom, the only reason you believe you're free is because that's what you have been taught to believe. You were free before they taught you about freedom, right? You are living in Uncle Sam's version of freedom.
You think no matter the age we are, or whether you're 70, matter you're 10, or like whatever you are, do you think we're all kind of born equally?
So a lot of like you've got to also look at like what have we been what were we were exposed to things that our parents weren't exposed to, right? And the generation now is probably not people who are physically are 9 years old who are exposed to things that like we probably weren't exposed to till we were like 16, 17, 18. I try to meet everybody at respect with their level, right? I don't care if I'm talking to a 50-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 2-year-old, or an infant. You can ask anybody who's around me, they will tell you this nigga talks to everybody the exact same. He doesn't change. It's very consistent. Now, he will alter like the certain things based off of how you respond to him, but like I don't when I because I understand this, right? I don't know a lot, but I know enough to know I know a lot and know more than most people. Y'all might be looking at an infant, right? But that infant could be a stream of consciousness that is 12 times older than your stream of consciousness, right? Or you could be looking at an 80-year-old, but that 80-year-old could be a stream of consciousness that is only half of your stream of consciousness's age, right?
Could
So
you
if
explain
you
more if
only
you don't mind?
yeah, if you stare at the world through a 3D lens, you'll never really know who's in front of you, right? You have to look at it from a 4D perspective in terms of consciousness, right? For example, uh if Ronda Rousey's in front of you, right? And you're just looking at the 3D, you see a woman, right? But because of what that woman knows has inside, that woman is dangerous. That woman is lethal, right? So if you're not looking at the temperament and the ease of mind and the presence of what's in front of you, the consciousness, you don't truly know what's in front of you. This is what I say for Christians, right, to help them understand the way that I perceive the world, right? Because they believe that they believe in random respawn tokens, right? So let's say that like this nigga respawned, he still has to undergo the physical maturation process. He still has to grow, right? But even in the Bible, if that nigga was 7 years old, he was still Jesus when he was 7. He was still Jesus when he was 18. He was still Jesus when he was 2. He was still Jesus when he was 21, right? Which means that his like spirit, his soul, his consciousness is older than you. So even when that nigga was 5, you should have been listening to every word that nigga was saying. Even when that nigga was 12, you should have been listening. So what I do, because I have no clue if I'm looking at a being whose soul, whose spirit, whose consciousness is older than mine or not, I just listen to reality because that's all I can do. I don't listen with my own perception of reality because I understand that if I do that, I don't know whose perception of reality I'm leading with. For example, if you lead with an American perception of reality, if you see me eating a hamburger, you might ask for one. If you have a Hindu version of reality and you see me eating a hamburger, you might try to slap that shit out my hand. That's another reason why I don't get like why religious people, you can't truly say that you love somebody and force them into something that makes them look at themselves as less than. I'm looking to you people who are religious, modern day religion like America, and also like the old day religion like Islam and Christianity. These religions, these political structures, these beliefs explicitly tell women that they are not equal to or beneath, that they are beneath men simply because of the reproductive organ that they inherited, that they were born with. Why? How the fuck could I look at a woman in my life, a woman, female, whatever, say that I love you and tell you to be a Christian when Christianity, New and Old Testament, tells you to shut the fuck up in churches and wait till you get home to ask questions? Tell you that you shouldn't exercise authority over men. Why the fuck would I tell you to be Muslim? You can't even go outside and say hot girl summer because you're gonna be dressed in motherfucking head to toe in motherfucking hijabs and whatever the fuck else. Why the fuck? If God gave you some ass to shake, then shake it. What you covering it up for? Why the fuck would I tell a woman that I love to be American when women had to fight for the right to participate in America? Why the fuck would I look at a woman and say, go be American? Nigga, fuck America. Suck my dick, Sam. The fuck are you talking about? Right? Why the fuck would I tell anybody who I truly love and care about to put themselves or to subscribe to a belief system that belittles them? I'm not fucking, bro. Fuck America. Because of the color of my skin, I'm worthless. How about y'all come show me how worthless I am? Come fucking put your hands on me for real, fair, 1-to-1, right? Everybody, niggas like to run around in groups and think shit's tough. Niggas don't want to see me 1-on-1 because they know that these mitts is official, bro. I will really put somebody away. That's what a God like. See, like that's one of the things that comes with being like a God outside of delusion. It's like I'm important in reality, right? For example, what that means is like Bill Gates is important in humanity, right? But maybe not so much to reality, because if Bill Gates runs into the woods and Mama Bear sees Bill Gates playing with Baby Bear, Bill Gates is getting his ass took, right? So that means that he was only important in certain spots. Me, I go to the woods, I'm probably not getting attacked because of my presence, because of my energy. If you see the way that nature responds to me, it's very different, right? A lot of people say, but like if you get to experience the way nature responds to me because of my level of awareness and consciousness, I'm probably going to be more respected and treated like a cub. But it's like I'm not the only God. I'm not. It's a whole species. It's not like, Drake been telling y'all that he's a god for the longest time. He's been telling y'all in y'all face, might go down as God, six God behind closed doors. A lot of six, like he tells you, right?
Everybody's point of view is different. Like Islam, bacon's bad. Like Christianity, it's dependent on the view. How do you think? Like, do you think we're viewing God in like the wrong way?
Yeah, no, you are right. You definitely are. Because like, am I being recorded?
Yeah, if that's fine with
Okay.
you.
Yeah, no, that I was just wondering. Yeah, so yeah, people, you guys are viewing God and gods in the wrong way. And a large part of the reason is because like when certain names carry power, right? Like Santa Claus. If I'm a shitty parent, Santa Claus becomes a tool for me. And I say things like, hey yo, if you don't go clean that mess up over there, Santa Claus said you're going on the naughty list. Whole time, Santa Claus doesn't exist like that. The whole time, like, I'm manipulating Santa Claus to manipulate you. It's the same with like God, right? Like people will say, hey yo, if you don't clean that mess up in the corner, God's gonna put you on the naughty list, so you're gonna go to hell. And people start recognizing that they can manipulate and like use certain names and things for themselves. Even the name Jesus, even the name Muhammad, even like religion, right? So they like paint these stories of fiction the same way they do with black people, to where it's like, nah, like that's not what we are. And then like people like describe their relations, and like there's certain like truths to it, to where it's like when I tell people that God and Allah is like it's the same thing, right? Like God is another name for Allah, like because God's the presence is so great that people just can't help recognize you over time and over space. But the reason why they behave different is it's the how I said earlier. I'll treat everyone fairly in the same, but like I will respond to you based off of how you respond to me, right? So Christianity, they treat God in a very specific way, and Islam treats our presence or the universe, right? Let's just say reality. Islam treats reality in a very specific way, and Christianity treats reality in a very specific way. So because of that, reality treats each of those, groups in a very specific way.
I also noticed you make music.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just something that like I wanna do it a little more, not seriously or often, but my problem is this. Um the area of the kingdom, the area that I've inherited that people, call Kansas City, Missouri, they've got a lot of growing up and maturing to do, right? Um but so like understanding like, yo, I'm more important than you guys, so like you're supposed to do things for me. If you guys want things to work out and be successful for yourselves, I'm your leader, right? This is not just to who they call Kansas City. This is to the whole universe and all of you. If you want things to be successful, then things need to be done for me, not in spite of me, not around me, not to. They need to be done for me. Because let's be honest, you guys don't know what you're doing. You're not as smart as me. You're not as connected as me, and you're not as respected by me or as me when it like world leaders. You think if you had to stare at Big Meech face to face and negotiate that you're not gonna feel that pressure if you with Dave East or if you with the Rollins like Black Sam, these people who got real connect, bro. These people will eat you guys alive. They look at you and you guys are lunch meat to them. You're jokes to them. There's real killers in this industry. Real killers. And you guys popping your music that y'all not running shit down. You're not drilling shit. And that's who you guys are trying to sell your story to is people who actually run shit down, who actually walk shit down, who actually jail shit, who actually kill shit. And you're gonna lie to their faces? You gonna feel a different type of pressure from that, bro. They don't respect that inauthentic behavior. So I would make more music, but the people around me, they're actors. Anytime I watch music videos or like shit from Kansas City, I'm not watching music videos. I'm watching short films. I'm watching niggas acting. I'm watching niggas portraying a lifestyle that's not them. Y'all niggas aren't like that, and you know it. When I show up, niggas be scared as fuck. When I show up, niggas take their poles out and put them bitches on tables. Y'all are not like that, and you know that. Y'all niggas be running from me, and I be showing up to that bitch cordial as fuck, giving y'all niggas interviews, bro, and you be scared of me based off of my presence. So shut that shit up in y'all music, because you're not no fucking gangsters. But so what I'm saying is like I would make more like music, but it has to be with people who are giving real authentic stories. And I also have a specific type of beat that I like. So like the music that I put was just me like a bunch of YouTube beats or YouTube producers just going on like showing people like I can really do this and have fun with it type deal, right? But like if I was to take it in a more serious manner, I would have to one be around real authentic energy. But I need a certain type of beat. Like I like them gangster beats, like shit that like you would hear on the West Coast, or shit that you would hear in ESTG's music, or shit that you would hear in like Rock 49 or Lil Baby got something like with the rolling 808s and the crazy bass, or like Dave East got some crazy beats. You feel me? Like my nigga Jag be having stupid beats. I'm trying to get my nigga Jag to like do some shit, but like niggas be busy, so I'm not pressing that nigga like that too much. But like I can't, if for me to like put my stamp on something and like really like show that shit off to niggas, like, cause obviously a lot of people like my DMs is crazy. Like the people I be DMing is crazy. Like, but like the people who look at it like, okay, but it's like, I'm not pushing that shit for a reason because it's just me like having fun. Like I'm not pushing some shit that like isn't completely tailored and tooled and as efficient as I want it to be. And it got to start with the beats. It really truly has to start with the beats.
So just use
And a lot
stories
of the
for
beats,
kind of like the inspiration.
story experience, like so. I mean, so here's the thing. Like if you take all the music that I've ever like released, it's giving people knowledge. It's giving you like real life things to like change your life, to show you what's being done to you. Like I think I got a line that says niggas love it when you sleep, so they telling you chase your dream. You've been buying what they selling all over their TV, or they've been pushing propaganda all over their TV channels, got you running to their schools where they teach you to follow suit, right? If you're thinking for yourself, RIP. Or like when I say shit like I don't know, like it's just the same shit that the same shit that I'm talking about this whole time is just reality. Talking about real life because real life matters. It does. People don't know what they're capable of. Like we don't know what, as people, as individuals, we don't know what we're actually capable of because these bullies, these groups of bullies come around, they call themselves governments and they force you to do like they force you to give your life force, to give your energy, to give your streams of consciousness. Like they force you to make it work for them. And if you say that belongs to me, you have to go to war for it. Like you essentially have to go to war for yourself before you're able to see what life is. Right? Like nobody on this planet outside of nobody in existence, as far as I'm concerned, outside of reality, right? Another name for reality is God. Another name for reality is life, existence, Allah, the universe, creation or creator, right? Eternity. All different names for the same reality is also right. So like no one can tell me what we're truly capable of, how far we can truly take things outside of reality, because no one's been around, nothing's been around for as long as reality has. So why like that's my main goal and my main focus is not making something out of myself within the bounds and confines of society. It's making something out of myself within reality itself.
Yeah.
Because ultimately at the end of the day, societies crumble, societies tumble, societies stumble. Reality is forever, bro. Before society was reality, after society will be reality. Society is consistent, or reality is consistent. Reality is permanent. Society is not consistent. You can be successful in this sector of of society, but that sector of society may call you unsuccessful. It's not consistent.
Well, it was great having you. I'd love to have back on with you. Like, I don't know, we could talk about your childhood or something, being the theme of the show and everything.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Yes,
We
hit me
can do that.
back.
I'm down to. Hell yeah, bro. Motherfucking we can content farm together, bro. I need some like podcast clips and shit like that. We could do this like once a week, bro, and
Yeah.
we could I got an idea, bro. I got an idea that I could rock with you on.
What is it?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you know how
I
like
mean,
the
like, you
Tate's like yeah, we can just like we can clip some of the like we can clip some of these hoes and like we can do collaborative posts on Instagram and shit like that. You feel me? Every now and again. Uh I got a I got a very specific audience. Like there's a lot of celebrities. There's a lot of celebrities who follow me even outside of like my following, like that we go to DMs with.
like who?
Um people that probably I mean people you recognize maybe like Cedric the Entertainer, Gary Owen. They don't follow me via button, but they follow me via like following my account. I don't know if you know JID.
No, I don't know.
I don't know if you know Big Meech.
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't expect Meech is a crazy one. World leaders, a lot of world leaders. Uh, I don't know. A lot of like B-listers. A lot of B-listers who give me A-list like access. Just go through my following, bro. I'm an
Oh.
important person. Yeah, just
If
go
you want
through
to
my
send me your
following.
Instagram, I tried, but none of the user wouldn't pop up or anything like that.
Yeah, I just changed it like a day or two ago.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
need to
I'll
change
send
that
it.
on your YouTube.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'll send it to you right after this.
We'll do.
Um
Alright, well, I'm gonna let you go. Thanks again, then.
Peace.